Hello, hi, my name is Sharita and I make videos on the internet. But you probably wouldn't know that because I haven't made videos on this channel in like 5 years, but different conversation for a different day. So I am, my fixation for reading and books have come back, and why not continue this booktube journey with you guys? So I am going to kick off my relaunch of booktube with the January tag, and this tag was made by a lovely person by the name of Jan, and I will leave their original video down below in the description box. See, kind of a booktuber. Kind of. So I'm gonna be reading the questions, and then answering them, the prompts, right? So happy January, and we'll see if this even goes up in January, because it's like January 80th. Okay, prompt number 1. What was the last and first, if you remember, book you read last year, 2021? So I'm gonna pretend as if I never read a book in my life, because I haven't read books in so long, like, really doesn't even matter. However, I did start reading again at the end of 2021. So the first book that I read was A Piece of Cake by Cupcake Brown. It is a memoir. It is fantastic, amazing, if you will. And then the last book that I read was A Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. Yes. And I want to say that, no, I have not read it before, but I did watch the movie on Netflix or Hulu or whatever it's on. And then I realized that I had the book in my TBR, and I was like, oh, so I might as well read it. So that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. So first book, and mind you, I read these books like 3 days apart from each other. So it was like Cupcake Brown was like December something, and A Woman in the Window was like December 31st. So it's not like January to December, because, right. So prompt number 2, what was your first read of this year? So my first read of this year, 2022, was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I had I knew nothing going into this book. I just knew that it was highly requested or anticipated, or a lot of people recommended it. There it is. I knew I would eventually get to the word. So I know it was recommended by a lot of people, and so I read it, and I do not regret it at all. It was a great read, and things happened in the book, or there was a key part in the book that I was not expecting, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So I thoroughly enjoyed that book. Share 3 of your reading goals of this year. So 1 is to read my physical books. You'll see. It's actually alarming how many books I have. Very alarming. So 1 is to read my physical books, because I have a lot of physical books that are so interesting that I really want to read. But then I find audiobooks and I'm like, oh yes, audiobooks. Anyway, second goal is to read 5 fantasy books. I don't delve into that genre very often, but I really would like to expand my reading, because I think that's the reason why I get into reading slumps, is because I'm like a psychological thriller gal, and I will read nothing but psychological thrillers, and then I just get tired. I get bored of them. And so I need to replenish my brain cells, and I need to do it with something else. And so fantasy is something that I've always been interested in, but I never read it. I've started the Wings of Ebony, and I'm pretty sure that definitely falls under the fantasy realm, and I'm enjoying it thus far. So yeah, That's 5 fantasy books, and that will be my first one. And then the third goal is to complete all of the challenges that I'm part of. So I do a lot of reading challenges. At least at the beginning of the year, I signed up for a lot of reading challenges, such as the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge. There's a Black Girls Read 2 challenge. There's a 52 books in 52 weeks challenge. So many of those challenges, right? And I signed up for so many of them, but they overlap. But I want to finish all of those challenges. If you guys want to know which challenges I am participating in, and then we can like, oh, these are the books that I read, we can do that. We can do that. So those are 3 of my goals for this year. Prompt number 4, share 3 of your most anticipated titles. All right, so the first title is Finding Me, a Memoir by Viola Davis. So I absolutely love memoirs, and I love nonfiction. So, I mean, in Viola Davis, like queen energy, I cannot wait to read that book. And I know I'm gonna have to listen to it on Audible or audiobook, because I'm sure she's going to narrate, as most memoirs are narrated by the author. So yes, I cannot wait to read Viola Davis's memoir. The next one is Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. To be completely honest, I just saw the cover and I was like, gotta read it. And then the third one is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. This is a thriller, and again, I'm all about psychological thrillers. So, and that's one that everybody has been talking about, so I cannot wait to read that one. The next prompt, which goals did you reach / not reach last year? I had no goals last year because, again, 5 years. I had no reading goals. I probably, at the beginning of the year, maybe I set a book, what's that thing called? Goodreads goal of 12 books, maybe. But I don't even know if that was last year. Couldn't tell you. So I set no goals, therefore I reached no goals. That's how you win at life. You just don't set any goals. Then you don't fail. Next question, are there new releases this year you've heard of that you have no desire to read? Not necessarily. I'm not a big fan of science fiction, sci-fi books, but I also don't really pay attention to those titles. So there's nothing that I've seen that I'm like, I don't want to read that. So I don't really have an answer to that. No. What are some reading habits you want to change this year, if any? So this goes back to my 3 goals. One is to read from my shelf. Again, I probably have 200 books. Yeah, I probably have about 200 books. It's fine, it's completely fine. So to read from my shelf is one, and to read every single day is my other goal. And so far, because like I said, it's January 80th, I've read every day. Whether it's an audiobook on my Kindle or a physical book, I've read something every single day this year. So gotta keep that one going. Are there any adaptations you're excited about? So I shouldn't say the only, but the adaptations that I'm really excited about are pretty much the thrillers. So Where the Crawdad Sings, Luckiest Girl Alive, Kindred, and No Exit. And I haven't read any of those books yet, but all of these books are on my TBR. 3 of them I have physical copies. Do I have No Exit? Actually, I might have all of these. I might have all physical copies of these books. So anyway, I'm really excited for these adaptations. So I'm gonna read the book first and then watch the adaptations. Kindred is actually the one I'm most excited about. Yeah, that's the one I'm most excited about. Favorite bookish memory of last year. So it was probably just finishing A Piece of Cake by Cupcake Brown, just because that refueled my love for reading. I just brought it with me because I travel a lot for work, and I brought it with me, and I was just reading it, while traveling in between my jobs. So it was, I don't know, it just brought joy to me again. And it just reminded me of when I was a young kid and I would read literally everywhere that I went. And so that was my favorite bookish memory of last year, because again, what books? And the last prompt, carryovers from last year that you plan on finishing. Literally all of them. Like, I'm not gonna read 200 books this year, but I didn't read anything last year. So all of the books that I wanted to read in the previous years are what I want to read this year. And I also, okay, so remember Barnes & Noble when they had that 16th, where did that come from? I know where that came from. You know when Barnes & Noble had the hardback 50% off? I went a little crazy. And I bought 16 hardbacks when they had the 50% off. So I would like to read those. That'd be great. Wings of Ebony is actually one of them that I bought. And so I don't know if I'll finish that by the end of this month, but definitely in February. So, all right, that is it. That is my January tag. And I am just so happy to be back. I'm so happy to just be reading again and fueling my mind with great positive things. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Please follow me on my Bookstagram and also follow me on Twitter. And I will be making a new TikTok. I do have a TikTok already, but I'm going to be making a book talk because why not? So until my next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.